I had a Samsung Avant. I had a Samsung Avant since about 2013. So for about 5 years. And over that 5 years, I put together an extensive library of music that fit my musical taste, my lifestyle, my overall experience absolutely perfectly. After some time, I began to notice that at random periods, things would come up missing as far as files from my musical library. Over those years in that phone, I collected and curated over 1,300 MP3 files, instrumentals and beats, songs of my own, songs of artists that I had found that I enjoyed, mainstream and very known to underground and obscure. It was a soundtrack of my life I had built. And I noticed one morning I woke up on a very random day. And I noticed that I used to have 1,300 songs listed as total files on the songs playlist of my music app. And now it was only showing 900 and something. It's like, oh, that's weird. It's random 400 MP3 files just disappear off my SD card and off my phone. At a random day and time, but very specific files. Okay, so I kind of go through and off of the memory of what my playlist and what the music I used to have would be, I was able to go back through and find download links to a lot of those songs that I had had over the years. To get some of those songs back, but a lot of them I couldn't. A lot of those files and those MP3 links were gone, and or those download links were gone and dead, and couldn't get to them anymore. So, and this is, like I said, I've had this phone since 2012 at this time, and this is back in about 2016 or so. I think is the first time I noticed it. So I'd had my phone for about 4 years. And, initially I was just like, okay, I was kind of weird. I kept it to myself, but another couple of months goes by, and just one random day I try to go to listen to a song or to play a playlist that I've always had for so long on this phone, and it just wasn't there. Like literally, it wasn't those MP3 files were just gone. Just gone. Those songs, those beats, just gone. Vanished. Like, that's weird. So I'm like, okay, it's getting to me too much at this point. So I try to find the links again. It doesn't quite work. Now I'm uber frustrated. So I've gone from 1,300 songs at this point down to about 6. So over half my library just gone. And I wake up just, another couple of weeks or months, however long goes by. And I wake up one morning and there's this little icon. It's over at the top left-hand corner of my screen on my smartphone. Shaped like my SD card. It's got a little exclamation point in the middle of it. It says mount SD card. What do you mean mount my SD card? My SD card's been in my phone for like 3 or 4 years. I've never taken it out. I've never taken the back of my phone off. Like, why does my SD card need to be mounted? I never unmounted the damn thing. I never hit the eject button. So I popped the back of my phone off. My SD card is still mounted in there fine. I don't understand why it's telling me to mount it. But okay, whatever. It's telling me I have to because it's not going to read it if I don't. And so I hit the eject button. I pull my SD card out. I put my SD card back in and remount it. Turn my phone back over to read. It says, new SD card, SD card inserted. And it goes through and tells me, oh, SD card's got a corrupted file on it. It's going to need to be formatted. Like, whoa, huh? Pause, like, slow down. Like, this is my 8 gigabyte SD card I've been collecting and putting all these files and all this music on. Whether it be voice clips of my own music that I'm trying to finish piecing together and creating, whether it be poems that I had, whether it be beats that I had, whether it be songs that I really enjoyed, just everything that I had on there, pictures, videos. It's telling me I gotta format it and erase it all in order to get my SD card to read on my phone. And it's like, yo, this, like, what? How did this randomly just happen to my SD card? Like, this is effing weird, yo. So I don't want to do that. I take it to my buddy. I get him to put I get a computer guy that I know. I get him to load up the files off of my SD card onto his computer and copy them onto a disk before he gives me my SD card back for me to erase everything and format it, so I still have access to those files. And I do that, and I erase my SD card totally blank and put it back on my phone. I take that CD file that he had, taken all the files off the SD card for me, put on that CD. I put those in the computer. I load those files back up onto the SD card that's now formatted to fit my phone like it asked me to do. When I put it back in, totally fine. It's blank. All 7 point whatever gigabytes on there free. So I go and I drag all the files back on there on the computer to reload it all up, and I try to put it back all on the phone. And it loads all those files up, and they're shown on my SD card. But now all of a sudden when I go to click on those files to try to play them, oh, invalid file will not play. How the fuck is an MP3 file invalid? Like, it's a smartphone that only plays, like, well, I can't say only plays, but it's a smartphone that's meant to play MP3 files. So I go down. Awkward, weird. Or at least in my opinion it was. Now my phone won't play MP3 files whatsoever. So I was like, okay. I start to vent some of these concerns to people around me, and the consistent response I'm getting is, oh, well, you've had that phone for so long, it's just that your phone is go get a new phone, stop complaining. Ain't no weird things going on with your phone, right? Whatever. So now I go and get a new phone. Fast forward a little bit. I've had this phone for maybe a couple of weeks now. Guess what? SD card won't allow things to save to it. Files will not read. Same damn thing. With a brand new phone that's supposed to have 15 gigabytes of internal memory on it, plus this 8 gigabytes I'm trying to add with an SD card. But now all of a sudden the SD card can't save files, won't save files, can't transfer files. Like, so now what y'all supposed to be telling me when I tell y'all that my phone is acting weird, that my phone do weird things? Like, nobody believe me when I tell you that even in those files it disappeared. Fucking playlist for the Inner Dialogue album that I was putting together randomly disappears, and oh, guess what pops up on Sci-Hi's fucking No Dope on Sundays album? My fucking sample that I've been working on for 2.5 years building that damn song to. And motherfuckers know I've been using that sample for 2.5 years trying to get that shit together to, or I can't even say just even trying to get the shit together to. I've used that sample, I've used that beat, I've written that song, I've had that song ready and done and performed and recorded and all put together, everything. Sitting there on my phone just waiting for the complete project to be done and put together. And then randomly it disappears, and then after it disappears a couple of weeks later, here comes Sahai all over motherfucker. See, what people tell you that I'm crazy when I go off into my rants or my thoughts or my beliefs about that. But it's the truth. Motherfuckers know. You can't keep all those feelings hid inside your mind. Yeah, that's on that No Dope on Sundays album. Ben had that sample Ben wrote that song back in 2013, my G. Yeah. They wanted me to take one. Team player, but we all make mistakes, bruh. Money in the bank, yeah. I call it saving my soul. This ain't no mystery. My story living infamy. Simple as told. See, I never harbor feelings. Oh, just lead the harder feelings. Silent truth, just know they all forgiven. Forever comfortable, like what is that? Velvet sway got the touch. Am I doing too much? But don't he spaz on every line from the bass to the punch? White bucket with burgundy guts, yup. I swear it stuck with me. The only view that never changed was the mirror. Penthouse living and still having nigga moments. They say you are who you are. I say you fly or you fall. Hell of a game. You bench or you ball. Lace them up, take a glass, raise them up. From apartment balconies to the Eiffel Tower lunch. It was all truth. Yeah, unspoken, but I can feel the air thicken. They just hate when niggas fly. Blake Griffin, state prison dodger, victim of my skin tone. Double rent deposits, victim of my skin tone. Select few that got it. I'm with them now. They tell me kill this game. I tell them tenfold. See, they don't want to see us grow. They just won't see us fold. I just won't say I know some young black CFOs. Glass ceiling know it's more than what they pay us. Somehow they make us let in, but we hate us. Damn shame. We're more concerned with these bottles of champagne and what the hell is going on with Stevie and Jaws Lane. But in God's name, I say a prayer for the youth. A few good men left, but can they handle the truth? They feelings hurt, so F it, I guess not. 80s baby to the core, like F it, I miss Pac, I'm hot. Ben wrote that song with that sample. Had it sitting on my phone, waiting to get the whole project done. Finally, by about that time in 2000 and late 2016, early 2017, I would say I finally had the whole project done. Just needed to get it recorded. And then that's just randomly, boom, when stuff starts disappearing off my phone. But like I said, I'm crazy for having those thoughts. Or at least that's what they tell me. Like you, the way that I piece it together, or the way that I can logically put it together, is so I'm watching ESPN one day, and it turns out that they've uncovered that Kevin Durant is using these random burner accounts in order to have these arguments and or conversations on Twitter with fans. Okay, people go off on them. You know, they run the story. It lasts for however long it lasts or whatnot. But it got me to thinking. I'm not sure for anybody else or if everybody else, if I'm the only one or if I'm just one of the billions that do think like this. Who am I to know? But it got me personally to thinking, okay, word up. So I know that with this election and the spread of that propaganda, that there were a lot of bots and fake accounts running around social media. I also know from my own personal experience through my initial Twitter foray into Twitter, whatever you want to call it, that I had come across a lot of hip-hop, mixtape, DJ bot accounts. So I know that those bots exist. But now it's like, yo, these people are taking it a step further and not just doing bots, but making random accounts. Like, okay, KD's making a burner account. That's a celebrity. Like, well, not, a celebrity, a ball player, an athlete. Like, who else is making burner accounts, random throwaway accounts? I know that these people that want to go on there just to harass random people are, and sometimes they're bots, but yo, if KD's got some burner accounts, and who's to say that not other NBA players have burner accounts? Who's to say that they don't know about each other's burner accounts and that they don't have their own intertwined circle of Twitter and of the experience that they want to have on any social media, whether it be Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever, through these burner accounts, and just giving out those names to those burner accounts throughout the fraternity of what the NBA circle is, or of what, if it's an acting or an actor or a circle of actors, of what that circle is, or just in general. There is going to be pockets of people that operate in these different areas of the industry that could potentially be beneficial to them to move around on social media, not only through their public persona account, but also with a level of anonymity through a burner account. Who's to say that there aren't pockets of journalists, pockets of hip hop artists that don't communicate with each other, or even within, not even within each other, but just within the realm of who's on their specific teams, through managers, friends, A&Rs, producers, just people around them. That's going to be the hustle and bustle to make this artist who this artist is, or even artist to artist, just communicating in circles through burner accounts. Which then leads me to think, okay, well, through these burner accounts, you're going to have this level of anonymity that you can operate with, but it's all going to give you this freedom that you don't have on this social media account through your public persona, because you're so known and so popular. Throughout this freedom that this anonymity of this burner account is going to give you, you're going to come across things that maybe you still would come across on your public page, but wouldn't be able to necessarily, what's the word I'm looking for? Wouldn't be able to acknowledge that you came across them because of the way that it would look through your public persona account. But let's just say this group of artists from Atlanta, all hypothetical, are communicating with each other through these burner accounts because they want to have the experience on their Instagram to talk this trash, or to have this, or to give this opinion or that view without it affecting their complete public perception. Then they do that. Well, what else are they going to come across while they're operating in Twitter on these burner accounts? You come across everything on social media, or on Twitter or Instagram, just social media in general. Who's to say that one of these artists or one of these people that are in these artist circles aren't coming around or coming up on or hearing or listening to, even really, these aspiring or these up and coming or these indie artists that are just spamming and putting their music out there and just hoping that a hook latches on somewhere, that they get noticed, or that they're trying to build and curate a fan base and they just want the ears and the listens. So then who's to say that that person or that artist that's operating on that burner account doesn't hear a sample or hear a song or grab an idea or just anything, and then send it and feed it back, or take it to this level here, and just knowing that they're going to have such a bigger, larger signal boost towards whatever it is that they found once they give it to the public, because of who they are, versus this person that's just out here trying to do whatever, aspiring on the grind, indie, or on the come up. I don't think that that's a very far-fetched thought process or out there to have or to think. I don't think that that's out of the realm of possibility to be or to have happening. And I 100% feel and know, really, that has happened to me specifically on more than one occasion. One of your former favorite Bay Area local talent artists, he know who he is. Years ago, I don't know how he heard it, where he heard it, when he heard it, but he know what he did to my Jack B. Nimble song and beat. I know this weird shit disappeared off I don't know how you jump into the phone, but I know my sample and my whole playlist for Inner Dialogue disappeared off my shit, bro. Just hella random. And I know for a fact that sample popped up on that No Dope on Sunday, which is a dope album, man. And Sahai is a beyond dope artist. Like, it ain't even no shade like, oh, these whack niggas, like, nah, man. Like, I rocks with Sahai. I got plenty of his projects sitting in my phone. It was some of his projects was in my phone. They disappeared off of them 1,200-1,300 songs that I had, bro. Like, I rocks with Sahai. But I know what I know. I've heard what I heard. I don't think that is too out of the wild to feel like There are mainstream artists and mainstream producers and mainstream execs and mainstream A&Rs and mainstream people in the music industry that are operating on social media through burner accounts and anonymity that you wouldn't know are. And they're going around and they're plucking and they're pulling and they're listening and they're feeding and they're sliding and they're using things that they hear out there for their own gain, and they're not going to give you any credit for it. This game is full of sharks. Don't be chump. Don't be a chump.